Hey Tracers, Sean here. How's it going? It's been a while since we touched on Chinese politics. And frankly, this might be one of the craziest topics we've tackled so far. In a totalitarian regime, the most dangerous enemy isn't a foreign army. It's the person sitting across the table from you. Today, two former Chinese defense ministers were officially handed suspended death sentences. Officially, they're labeled as corrupt. But behind those headlines lies a much deeper fear. What if the people closest to Xi Jinping themselves no longer believe he can win? And when a dictator starts fearing his own generals, it's usually not a sign of strength. It's the beginning of something far more dangerous. Because you never know how deep this hole goes. On May 7th, the Chinese military court dropped a political bombshell. Two former defense ministers, Fenghe and Shangfu, were simultaneously handed death sentences with a 2-year reprieve. While the official charges are bribery and corruption, everyone knows that in this system, corruption is just a convenient excuse to throw the book at someone. Their real crime is only one thing: political disloyalty. This suspended death sentence will eventually be commuted to life in prison without the possibility of remission or parole. This means these two generals, who once stood at the very pinnacle of power, will spend the rest of their lives rotting behind the bars of Qincheng prison. Before we tear this all down piece by piece, if you want to support Trace Zero so we can keep bringing you deeper, long-form investigations, consider joining Trace Circle. You'll get exclusive stickers featuring my face to use in the live chats and comment sections. I'll see you there. Professor Yuan Hongbing, a prominent legal scholar based in Australia known for his deep insights into the CCP system, has cited sources from within the regime. He claims that Xi Jinping's military intelligence discovered that Shangfu and Fenghe were fundamentally disloyal to him politically. Xi plans to take a decisive step in the global expansion of communist totalitarianism by triggering a war in the Taiwan Strait to legitimize his lifelong rule. Meanwhile, even though Fenghe and Shangfu as defense ministers put on a tough front regarding Taiwan in public, it was nothing more than a formality. Behind the scenes, however, they believed that if a war in the Taiwan Strait actually broke out, the CCP would most likely face a crushing defeat. This perspective, held by Fenghe and Shangfu, actually originated from Liu Yazho, the former political commissioner of the National Defense University. Liu argued that Xi Jinping lacks the military prowess to lead such a decisive war, which is why Liu Yazho was the first to be purged. Yuan Hongbing also mentioned that Fenghe and Shangfu were secretly involved in what the CCP calls extra-organizational activities. Publicly, they pretended to be in lockstep, but in reality, they were prepping political and economic contingencies to take control and clean up the mess in China if the Taiwan War ended in failure. Yuan Hongbing further revealed that the extra-organizational activities of Fenghe and Shangfu weren't just limited to military circles. They had begun networking across the military, party, and government departments. As part of the Princling generation, Red Second Generation, Shangfu has long-standing ties to the Deng Xiaoping family. Meanwhile, Fenghe has deep-rooted connections with the Jiang Zemin family. This is the fundamental reason why Xi Jinping handed down such brutal sentences to these two men. Yuan analyzes that the Xi regime's sudden decision to drop these heavy sentences right before the Xi-Trump summit scheduled for this month was intended to send a massive shockwave through the military's internal ranks. Xi wants to purge traitors en masse to re-establish his crumbling authority within the party, the government, and the military. In Xi Jinping's eyes, the extra-organizational moves by Fenghe and Shangfu were seen as a direct attempt to seize party power. The war hasn't even started yet, and they're already busy figuring out how to take the throne after Xi loses this truly struck Xi's most fatal nerve. Let's break down who Shangfu really is. Much like Xi Jinping, Li is part of the Princling generation, the Red Second Generation. His father, Li Shaozhu, was a Red Army veteran who served as the deputy commander of the Railway Corps' Southwest headquarters. But as a princeling, Shangfu was a bit of an outlier. He got into the Changsha Institute of Technology on his own merit, right after the college entrance exams, Gaokao, were reinstated. This school was an offshoot of the Harbin Military Engineering University, later renamed the National University of Defense Technology. So, we're talking about a genuine, hardcore tech guy here. He spent 30 years at the Xichang Satellite Launch Center, climbing the ranks from a technician to director under the General Armaments Department. Later, he served as the commander-in-chief for the Chang'e 2 mission. In short, the man is an aerospace expert. If you look at his resume, you'll notice that before moving to Beijing in 2013, Li was almost exclusively a technical official. The Fox people cited internal sources describing him as humble, yet possessing the deep-seated pride typical of an intellectual. To some, that pride came off as a sort of quiet condescension. He's a lot like the late Li Keqiang. His technical skills are top tier, but when it comes to playing the political game, networking, or even putting on a show of absolute devotion to the supreme leader, he's just not that good at it. Deep down, Xi Jinping has a massive inferiority complex. He needs technical talents like Li Shangfu to help build his image and military might, but at the same time, he's incredibly suspicious of people like him. As defense minister, Li might have been too blunt about certain professional issues. Even when he tried to play along with the political pleasantries, he probably didn't land the delivery, making Xi feel like he wasn't truly falling in line. Li Shangfu's biggest mistake was crossing over from military tech into military administration. He thought he could walk through the black hole of the CCP's filthy military bureaucracy and come out clean. Instead, he became a sacrificial lamb in a political power struggle. For someone with a technical background, that idealism and high self-esteem are seen as an insult by those who have spent their lives mastering the CCP's culture of bootlicking and blind obedience. Again, he reminds me so much of Li Keqiang, great at the job, terrible at the politics. He didn't know how to massage the right egos or signal loyalty in a way that felt authentic to a paranoid leader. Xi needs people like Li to make the military look modern and powerful, but he can't help but look at them with a side eye, wondering if they secretly look down on him. When Li tried to give professional advice or even attempted a white lie to keep the peace, it probably lacked that total submissiveness Xi demands. The tragedy is that Li Shangfu believed his expertise would protect him. He thought he could navigate the murky waters of the administration without getting his hands dirty. But in the CCP system, if you aren't a world-class sycophant, you're a target. People who rely on facts and skills are destined to be chewed up and spat out by a system that only rewards those who know how to bow. Some might think that with the fall of Fenghe and Li Shangfu, Xi Jinping can just appoint his own loyalists and call it a day. But that's exactly where the problem lies. The current Central Military Commission is no longer a solid, united front. Instead, it's a claustrophobic corner where everyone feels a target on their back, consumed by paranoia. According to political analyst Zhang Tianliang, the 7-member 20th Central Military Commission, CMC, has practically been gutted, leaving only 2 people standing, Xi Jinping and Jiang Shengmin, the head of the Military Discipline Commission. With Li Shangfu already handed a suspended death sentence for bribery and graft, the momentum is building. It's expected that the former director of the CMC Political Work Department, Miao Hua, along with CMC Vice Chairman He Weidong and Zhang Youxia, will face similar fates. Meanwhile, CMC Joint Staff Chief Lu Zhenli, who was reportedly detained alongside Zhang Youxia, is also likely looking at a suspended death sentence. Sentencing 5 out of 7 CMC members to what amounts to life in prison at Xinjiang is unprecedented. The most tragic part? These weren't outsiders, they were loyalists handpicked and promoted by Xi himself. Among Beijing officials, Xi Jinping has earned a chilling new nickname, the General Butcher. Zhang Tianliang even suggested he's upgraded to the Military Commission Butcher. The message is crystal clear. Xi Jinping has become the ultimate executioner for the CCP's top brass. But while he holds absolute power in his hands, he has also become a man completely alone, without a single true ally. He no longer controls his inner circle through prestige or shared interests, but through a suffocating, gapless system of espionage and surveillance. Everyone is living under Xi's magnifying glass. At the slightest hint of betrayal, a bottomless pit is already waiting for them. We can't help but wonder Xi has been in power for 3 terms, and his position looks as solid as a rock, so why is he still carrying out these insane military purges? Foreign political analyst Yaosheng reveals the truth behind it. This is all a build-up to the 21st National Congress. Leading up to that event, Xi Jinping must complete his final sweep of military power because for Xi, the only thing that truly determines whether he keeps his throne is not the economy, and certainly not the will of the people, but the power of the gun. The issue lies in the fact that even though Xi claims total control through the chairman responsibility system, many of these senior generals aren't people he truly trusts. While they show loyalty on the surface, they often still carry the colors of past factions and maintain their own circles of influence. That is exactly why figures like Miao Hua, He Weidong, Zhang Youxie, and Liu Zhenli, despite once being considered part of Xi's inner circle, are not getting a happy ending. Xi Jinping's greatest fear right now isn't an external enemy, but internal chaos and rebellion. Since the military is the only tool that can suppress internal resistance, he has to eliminate anyone within the ranks who could potentially form an independent power base. Another issue is that corruption within the military is fundamentally systemic. Over the years, the CCP military, especially in equipment procurement, has built profit chains with clearly fixed prices. When one general goes down, they usually drag a long string of names with them. The deeper Xi Jinping digs, the more he realizes that the entire system is almost completely rotten. Xi Jinping is using these 2 former defense ministers as sacrificial lambs to send a chilling warning to the entire military. Anyone who dares to threaten the political roadmap leading up to the 21st National Congress should be prepared to meet the same tragic end as Fenghe and Shangfu. Xi Jinping is using these 2 former defense ministers as sacrificial lambs to send a chilling warning to the entire military. The message is clear. Anyone who dares to threaten the political roadmap leading up to the 21st National Congress should be prepared to meet the same tragic end as Fenghe and Shangfu. To give us all a clearer picture of this party's true nature, let's look at a very telling set of data. Based on the 2025 White Paper on Criminal Prosecution Work released by China's Supreme People's Procuratorate, let's compare the crime rates across different social groups. The arrest rate for ordinary Chinese civilians is only about 0.04%, meaning for every 10,000 people, only 4 to 5 commit a crime. However, according to data from the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, the rate of legal violations among CCP members hits around 1%, which is 25 times higher than that of the general public. These numbers get even scarier as you move up the ladder. The crime rate within the ranks of the 20th Central Committee is roughly 7%, meaning 1 out of every 14 people is a criminal. At the level of the 20th Politburo, 3 out of 24 members have already fallen a ratio of 12.5%, or 312 times higher than the average citizen. And at the absolute peak, within the Central Military Commission, 5 out of 7 members have been taken down, reaching a staggering 71%. What does this actually mean? It shows that in the CCP's power pyramid, the higher you climb, the more likely you are to be a criminal, and the lower your moral standards become. The fact that over 70% of the highest military command are criminals is something unheard of in the history of world politics. Take a good look what kind of national government functions like this. This is clearly a highly corrupt, mafia-style criminal organization just wearing the robes of a state. The CCP has always patted itself on the back, claiming to be the most advanced vanguard that must lead the charge in wiping out corruption. But the logic is simple. If the roots of a massive tree are completely rotten, how can you expect to make it healthy again just by trimming a few small twigs? What Xi Jinping calls an anti-corruption campaign is, at its core, nothing more than an internal war, a brutal infighting within a mafia circle over turf and the right to survive. The more ruthlessly he eliminates his rivals, the clearer the internal fractures become, and the more obvious the signs that this massive edifice is on the brink of collapse. Tracers, history has repeatedly proven one truth. When a dictator begins to suspect everyone around him, and when he resorts to large-scale terror just to maintain his grip on power, that is the moment he has actually entered the countdown to his own destruction. The CCP military today is no longer a national defense force ready for battle. Instead, it has become a political machine shrouded in fear, suspicion, and secret police politics. Those generals are no longer focused on studying battle tactics, but are instead preoccupied with how to signal their loyalty to Xi, and how to avoid meeting a tragic end like Fenghe or Shangfu. When such a force is pitted against a truly formidable enemy and faces the iron will of the free world, just how much actual combat effectiveness do they really have left? The sentencing of Fenghe and Shangfu is not a victory for Xi. Rather, it is a historical milestone marking the total collapse of this entire system. This isn't just the end of the road for two four-star generals. It's a dress rehearsal for the doomsday of the entire CCP totalitarian regime. When a regime starts imprisoning the very people who were once its most loyal servants, it means fear has completely overtaken trust. Today, Fenghe and Shangfu might look like two generals who simply lost a political power struggle. But perhaps they are just the first signs that something deep within the system is cracking from the inside. And history always shows us one thing. Power maintained through paranoia and terror will eventually start devouring itself. The question is no longer whether these purges will stop, but whose name will be the next to vanish? If you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.